Copa America 2024 will see 16 coaches vie to become champions. But how good were they on earlier editions of Football Manager? Let's find out. Antonio Carlos. Back in 2005, he's lining up for Santos in the Brazilian League. His nomadic career was just coming to a close. He'd spent the previous 15 seasons playing around the world in Japan, Spain, Italy and Turkey before returning home. His greatest on-the-field achievement probably came in 1999, where in the yellow of Brazil, he played the entire 90 minutes as his nation triumphed in the Copa America final. In this edition, he'll be in the dugout for Bolivia and will need his wits about him in a tricky Group C. In 2024, the Mexico national team will be led by Jaime Lozano. Over 2 decades ago, we find him playing with Pumas. His entire playing career would be spent in Liga MX before his retirement in 2013. As a manager, he's already gotten his hands on numerous winners' medals, most recently winning a CONCACAF Gold Cup with his national side. In a more favourable side of the draw in this tournament, and a very expectant fan base, hoping to move on from a disappointing Qatar 2022, nothing short of the knockout stage would be a huge disappointment. Pound for pound, Marcelo Bielsa has to be among the most talented managers vying to become champion. Back in 2011, he's with Athletic Bilbao. Already by then, he'd accumulated nearly 30 years of managerial experience. With the Basque side, he was unfortunate that season to end runner-up in both the Copa del Rey and Europa League finals. In May 2023, he became the trainer of Uruguay. 6 games into their qualifying tournament, they're second, and with a pretty impressive squad to pick from, he has to be considered among the favourites to go all the way. Dorival Jr. I think it's safe to say he's not quite a household name like the players on Brazil's roster. Over 20 years ago, he's coaching Fortaleza in his homeland. He did a pretty good job, losing just 4 games out of 25. In the 2 decades since, he's gone on to coach 23 teams. His best period has definitely come more recently, where he'd win a Copa Libertadores as coach of Flamengo, as well as a cup with Sao Paulo. In a Brazil side filled to the brim with talent, but maybe lacking some confidence, he's going to need to be at his best. To a team which doesn't have quite the same riches when it comes to players, Costa Rica will be coached by Gustavo Alfaro. In 2013 he's with Arsenal de Sarandi in Argentina. His time there was trophy-laden, as he won 4 titles with the side, including a Copa Sudamericana. Since then, he's had an interesting journey, coaching Boca Juniors, as well as the Ecuador national team in World Cup 2022. Our second coach with a strong connection to Leeds United. Long before that though, his playing career is drawing to a close with Chivas USA. During his time on the field, he won 9 trophies, including 3 MLS championships. Moving into the dugout, it didn't take him long to replicate that success, as his New York Red Bull side won multiple supporters' shields. Now coaching the Canada national team, he must have his sights set on progressing out of Group A. Elsewhere in that group, we find Jorge Fossati's Peru. In a coaching career which began in 1993, he's enjoyed a remarkable amount of success. He's won 6 league titles in 4 different nations, and also an AFC Champions League with Al Sadd. This tournament may be tricky for them though, especially as after 6 games, Peru find themselves cemented to the bottom of CONMEBOL qualifying, having scored just 1 goal. Between 2015 and 2022, Ricardo Gareca coached Peru to 3 Copa America semi-finals. In 2019, he even finished runner-up. For this edition, he'll be with Chile. Outside of international competition, his most successful time was spent with Vélez Sarsfield, as he helped them win 4 league titles. To a part-time dentist, who probably prescribed me my most miserable night ever as an England football fan, Heimir Hallgrimsson. Long before he became manager of Iceland, he's competing in their domestic league. 10 years later, he took his side to a Euro quarter-final, an incredible feat all things considered. Since departing, he went to coach in Qatar, before returning to international football with Jamaica. Once again, this nation finds themselves on the easier side of the draw, and with a bit of luck, could make the latter stages. To another European who'll be coaching at this edition's Copa America, Thomas Christiansen. In FM 2005, he's playing for Hanover in Germany. The last 5 years of his career was by far his most prolific, as he scored 50 Bundesliga goals before leaving the game in 2006. He'd wait nearly a decade for his first managerial role, but since then has been busy coaching in Cyprus, at Leeds United and Union SG. Since 2020, he's been in charge of the Panama national side. Our second manager with a link to Arsenal de Sarandi, Daniel Garnero. In 2008, the Argentine took his first managerial role at the club. Since 2015, he's coached in neighbouring Paraguay, helping his sides to 3 league titles. Now coach of the national team, in a tricky Group D alongside Brazil and Colombia, it's going to be an uphill struggle to progress. A very familiar face to football fans worldwide, Lionel Scaloni. Long before he helped Argentina end nearly a 3-decade-long wait for a trophy, we find him at Deportivo La Coruña. Whilst playing at the club, he'd win 4 trophies, including the 2000 La Liga title. After departing, he'd enjoy spells with West Ham United, Lazio and Mallorca. As a player, he'd only make 7 appearances with his national team, but it's safe to say he's built an enduring legacy as manager. To another manager yet to coach a club side, Felix Sanchez. His managerial journey began with Qatar as he led them to an Asian Cup triumph in 2019. Hosting the World Cup 3 years later, his side would finish disappointingly bottom of their group. After the expiration of his contract, he joined Ecuador in 2023 and has made a decent start in South American qualifying, losing just once in 6. Following Colombia's disastrous 2022 World Cup qualifying campaign, where they missed out on the tournament altogether, Nestor Lorenzo would arrive as coach. In his first 18 games, he's gone unbeaten and led his side to 3rd in the CONMEBOL qualifying standings. 20 years earlier, he's working as an assistant for his home nation, but in this tournament, there's a chance he may have to go up against them. In 2006, Greg Berhalter is with 1860 Munich in the Bundesliga. Over the preceding 13 years, he played professionally in Holland, England and Germany, before he returned to the United States in 2009. His coaching career began with Hammarby and the Columbus Crew before he'd succeed Dave Sarachan as the coach of the national side. In 2022, he brought the USA to the World Cup knockout rounds before their elimination to the Netherlands. Recently, they won the CONCACAF Gold Cup in Dallas and have to have their eyes set on the latter stages of this tournament. Yet another Argentine who'll be in the dugout, this time Fernando Batista with Venezuela. This is his first ever job coaching a senior side, but with Argentina's under-23s, he did reasonably well, losing just twice in 15 matches. Since his arrival, they made a strong start to CONMEBOL qualifying, amassing 9 points in 6 games. Considering they only amassed 10 in the whole of the previous qualifiers, things are looking up, and in a very open Group B, a chance in the knockout round is pretty high. The 2024 edition of Copa America has an impressive group of coaches, all hoping to go all the way. In an edition which looks incredibly open on paper, we may see an unexpected manager up on that podium.